Okay, and hello, and we're about to go live on all platforms. So if you're just seeing the Slam Jam logo now, you can count down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hello, and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes channel, and also on the Slam Jam channel on YouTube. So if you're on the internet, which I assume you are if you're watching this, make sure you go over to the Extreme Improv YouTube channel, or go over to youtube.com/at Slam Jam Wrestling Show and smash that subscribe button. On the show tonight, we have Gav. Say hello to the people.
How's everyone? It's just me and you, really.
It's just us. It's like the dream team. Now we need at some point to finally get the band back together. But like,
yes, we do.
I've almost been like on a tour of like the greatest hits. Like, I've got you here today, Gav. Last week I had Dave Green. Like a week before that I had Corey. We need to this is trying to get exactly. It's trying to get the four horsemen all in the same room at the same time nowadays. It's just like it's not as easy. Yeah. But
I've been down with a cold for the last 10 weeks, so that's my fault. So,
oh, geez, you're doing better now?
I'm a lot better now, yeah. I tried to make it last week, but I was just...
No, absolutely, yeah.
You want to put everyone off?
Well, we had Dave Green on last week, so, you know, well dodged, you know. Whew. No, I'm joking. Dave, if you're watching, peace. But, no, peace. I can't remember. Right, anyway, so let's talk some wrestling now. Obviously, the big and shocking news this week is Jay Briscoe passed away a couple of days ago. I found out, I was watching NXT live, and I checked Twitter, and it came up, and then like 5 minutes later they announced it they actually announced it on NXT that Jay Briscoe was in a car accident and that he'd passed away, which is terribly sad. Over the last, I can be completely honest that I've seen bits and pieces of Jay Briscoe over the years, but I've never been like the biggest Ring of Honor guy, so I haven't seen tons and tons. But especially I've seen plenty of Ring of Honor over the years, and because the Briscoes were a permanent feature, I've definitely seen their matches, but it wasn't something I followed. But obviously this last year they had like one of probably is going to go down as one of the most famous trilogy of matches, tag team matches with FTR.
Yeah. I'm just like you, actually, to be honest. And yeah, rest in peace to him. Love to the family, friends, and whatnot. And I hear that his daughter was actually involved in the accident as well.
Yeah, I don't know if like I heard that there was like some update that his wife may have put something on social media saying about like, oh, you know, we still want your prayers, and that she's was going to be going into surgery or something. So I don't know like what her like condition or whatever is. That hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully her life isn't still in danger, but it may have been both, like two of his children, from what I understand, but I might be wrong on that detail.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like any parent's worst nightmare. You rather yourself than your kids, but again, like, it's really sad what actually happened there, and yeah, love and everything goes out to them, and just pray for the kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's other things, like, there's no two ways about it. It's just absolute tragic situation, someone passing away. A detail I then learned yesterday is that yesterday was Mark Briscoe's birthday.
That's right.
Like, unbelievable. What a, you know.
And that's going to change now forever, you know, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's going to remember his brother all the time when it comes up now. So.
Yeah, and they were the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
I struggle to think the last time, and hopefully something like this won't ever happen again, but the last time an active champion passed away.
I can't even think, really.
I can't think when it happened. I remember, like, the closest ones to it is that there was always the rumour that Eddie Guerrero was going to win a world title from Batista, just like literally on the next show before the next pay-per-view when he passed away. Obviously, it was, I believe, the case that Benoit was going to be ECW World Champion when that tragedy all happened. But I can't remember an actual champion.
Actual champion dying? No.
I
can't remember that either at all.
And like, obviously, this is almost like irrelevant at the moment. They'll have to address it in the fullness of time. But last night there was Dynamite, one of the news stories that I'm reading today is just because Jay Briscoe perhaps I don't even quite know what he'd said, but he'd said something controversial in the past, and this was a
Yeah.
reason why the Briscoes couldn't ever be on AEW TV.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did display a graphic at the start of the show, but apparently it came from the TV network saying that they didn't want it to be a tribute show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think is. I can't imagine what the conversation would have been if they'd said that, look, this might bring some negative publicity, or it might end up splitting the audience, or something in
Wow.
terms of. Because I think it's terrible. Everyone. I think he was universally loved within the wrestling community
Yeah.
itself. So if there are, idiots on the internet who are going to dig up the past and
I was going to say, this is the time for all that.
yeah,
At
absolutely,
the end of the day, no matter what, human being sadly passed away,
yeah,
and there's a lot of people that's hurting right now,
yeah,
and this is their moment to actually. You think of their kids and like the family, the wife. This
yeah,
is like for them really, and you need to do that because he gave a lot of his life for the industry, and you've got to kind of respect that and pay that back to him. Whatever he said in the past, I know he's actually apologized a few
yeah,
times as well.
yeah, absolutely. And like, to be honest, I as we've said fairly frequently on this show, when there's some of these controversies, I generally don't massively care about getting into all of the controversies. I
Yeah,
just kind of like to watch the wrestling and that. And so
yeah,
it feels a shame that they couldn't, because obviously Brody Lee passed away and they
yeah.
dedicated a show. But they did do a show, but it wasn't Dynamite last night. They filmed a hour special or something after Dynamite, which will be on the Ring of Honor YouTube or Honor Club or something like this.
Yeah.
I don't know when. I should imagine sooner rather than later. I don't think they should leave it
Right,
that
yeah,
long.
yeah,
And yeah, I won't say like the spoilers from it, but I think they had as much Ring of Honor representation as they could pull together
right.
within like a day's notice.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. At least there's something for him as well there. And
Well,
again,
yeah,
it's like
and
it's mostly for the family and like obviously the fans as well. But you've just got to remember, like at the end of the day, he is a human being at the end of the day,
yeah,
and the family, and this is just work for them. uh, So
yeah. No, I
you've got to
completely
think
agree.
of like the emotion with that. Yeah. So
Yeah. No, like re- re- really sad. Joe, on a personal note, and this is something I've
yeah,
like put on social media a couple of weeks ago. Right at the beginning of the year, I had a car accident, and
yeah,
it's something that really just makes you think about like how these things can happen, and how what lots of people have been saying about like how precious life is, and like hug your loved
exactly.
ones and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
to hear that this happened definitely gave me like a extra moment to pause and think about things. But
yeah.
yeah, like, but I'll tell you what, I was watching NXT live when all this happened, and I switched it off after that because in the middle of the night I was just like, oh, and I kind of didn't want wrestling on my mind for like
Yeah,
in that moment, because I just wanted to take my mind off of it.
yeah.
But have you seen any wrestling this week or the last couple of weeks? 10 weeks apparently
I
since you've
have.
been here.
Yeah.
Like
It's
everything's
it's
changed, Gav. McMahon's back. WWE's being sold to everyone.
exactly. I was just about to say, like, the whole news, I missed it all, obviously, because I was just like,
Yeah,
but yeah, McMahon coming back, and I was like thinking, when are we going to get over that news? And it's taken this, unfortunately, to do it.
yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the bad thing.
Well, yeah. I'm sure there's still going to be stuff going. Like it's not over with whatever the deal is with the
No,
sale. That's still gonna
no,
keep going on, and
yeah.
until it's bought or sold, or whatever the situation there is.
I was just there thinking, like, I don't know why this come in my head. What if Snoop Dogg buys WWE?
Wait, wait. Is that even a possibility?
I don't know.
I
It
haven't
could be.
heard that one. That would be amazing.
Yeah, because like his connection with WWE and whatnot, and then the boss might come back. I
Oh,
don't know. Wishful thinking.
oh my
I don't
god,
know.
he buys it, and he's like, "Well, I
Yeah.
don't know about wrestling, but I have a cousin who does." Introducing the
Oh,
boss. Yeah.
there you go.
Wow. Okay. There's random scenario here. If Snoop Dogg somehow bought WWE, and obviously Sasha would come back, would she be Sasha or would she be Mercedes Moné?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably combine the whole name together. I don't know.
Mercedes. That's quite good actually.
Maybe that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
Mercedes. I like it. Okay, wow. I don't know, but like, there was the big story like a week ago was that the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia had bought it, and it was a done deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it turned out that wasn't true. But apparently there were talent meetings where Triple H was saying, I don't think that's happened. But from the sounds of it, it's like Triple H didn't even know for certain himself at that stage.
No. Yeah.
Which is a
and
crazy
apparently
thing.
He was saying that he wasn't opposed to the sale either. So
yeah, I've heard like various things because if it gets sold, he's probably going to get a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it works with who is the who owns stock or what percentage of WWE Triple H owns, if any. Like, certainly I imagine Stephanie owns something.
Stephanie must.
Yeah.
Would Shane actually own anything?
Maybe. Like, who knows? Like,
yeah. Let's just hope and pray he doesn't make it in the Royal Rumble this year.
Who, Shane?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Like, imagine, but if I was Tony Khan and it was like, I'm going to buy WWE, which has been floated as an idea. And I think, even though I think it would have potentially big negative things if Tony Khan bought it, because in one sense we'd be back to square one. For 20 years there was just WWE and not competition, and then it would just be, well, there's no WWE and it's just AEW owns WWE. So we wouldn't be any further along. But if Tony Khan does buy it, I would be, look, get me Shane McMahon's number. I want to announce that I'm buying it, but suddenly on the Tron, it's just Shane. I would literally do that.
We could have Nick being like the Khan playing. It does say Khan.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my god. Yeah. This is amazing. Yeah. I'll try. I don't think Nick Khan would play along though.
No.
Well, unless he was given like some huge contract or whatever.
Huge amount of money.
Yeah. We were speaking, me and Dave last week about if Tony Khan bought AEW, if Tony Khan bought WWE. Like, would he just change AEW into WWE?
I'm not too sure.
It sounds crazy, but it's like, imagine if you were, I'm trying to think, if you were like Greg's, and you bought McDonald's, would you start rebranding McDonald's as Greg's, or you'd be like, well, to be honest, we're just going to use the McDonald's name?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
don't know, because WWE's established themselves and they've got that whole set. Like, the thing is, would he actually do a McMahonism and just bury WWE when he buys it? And then puts AEW over?
I don't think so. Just because, like, Tony Khan seems to love getting WWE guys.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And he is a big mark as well, so...
Yeah, exactly. I think he'd take care of... I don't think he'd necessarily do the best job. I don't think he'd necessarily do a bad job. Yeah. It's weird, like, for like the first 2 years of AEW, everyone was like, AEW's the real deal. WWE's... Yeah. And then, like, Triple H suddenly got it, just as Tony Khan started losing his way. And everyone was like, oh, Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing. He's buckling under the pressure. And Triple H is the saviour and all that. And then now we're like 5 months into Triple H, and like the whole Bray Wyatt thing's going on, and it's going nowhere. And people are like, "Oh, it's all wavering again." So
I was there thinking as well, like this out of the whole Triple H rehire, like his gauntlet, the Infinity Stones, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Out of all of his Infinity Stones that he's brought back, who's been the most successful one?
It's got to be Bray, but like Bray hasn't had a match yet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But he was like he came out as like the big deal on a pay-per-view. People were buying. I don't think anyone has paid to see Braun Strowman again.
No.
Like, did you see SmackDown last week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Like Braun Strowman versus Gunther Walter.
Yeah.
And Gunther beat him clean.
Do you know what? I don't know if you know what's happening for Gunther.
No.
Like, he needs that build, and the reason why is it's speculated that he's going to be going up against Brock.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's why you're going to have to build Gunther up to that.
That makes a lot of sense. The one
Yeah,
detail which I was shocked with it though is
yeah,
before the match on SmackDown, they showed Braun, and they were like,
yeah.
"Oh, check out his sneakers that he's wearing. They're like specially custom sneakers for in memory of some child that passed away."
Oh,
And they were like, "So he's wearing that. It's got his name on it or something like this. It's a dedication." And then he got beaten clean. And I was like, "Why did you have it on this?
yeah.
Yeah, this.
I missed that part.
Yeah,
So wow, yeah, they shouldn't have done that then.
yeah. I just thought that wasn't quite
Could
like what
have
they should
made
have
it
done. But I
happen
think that
next
makes a
week.
lot of sense. If they're gonna have
Yeah,
Gunther and Brock, then
yeah,
yeah, I think that's the way to go. Like build him up, have him
definitely.
defeat
He needs to
everyone.
build. And to be honest, like, he's been on a little bit of a roll now. I think it's since Crown Jewel with Sheamus,
Yeah,
his stock has just rised. You know.
yeah. Well, even when was Crown Jewel? Or like before that, I think Clash at the Castle.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm saying
Did you
Crown
mean
Jewel.
Clash?
Actually, Castle. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I
like
meant.
that match, obviously that had a lot of hype around. Oh, back in the UK Intercontinental Championship match after
That's
SummerSlam,
it. Yeah.
and that was like a huge win. You know,
Yeah.
huge win. Yeah. So maybe they will have Brock versus Gunther. I think Gunther's got to win though,
I think so as well.
because
You've got to
otherwise,
build that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it will just feel like Gunther beating Brock. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so if Undertaker had beaten Brock, it'd be like, well, yeah, Undertaker had the streak. This
Yeah.
year he beat not El Gigan, Giant Gonzalez. This year he
Yeah.
beat Mark Henry. This year he beat Randy Orton. This year he beat Triple H. This year he beat
Yeah.
Brock, and it would just be another one. But Brock
Exactly.
beating him makes it probably the most memorable Undertaker Mania match of all.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gunther beating Brock will mean something.
Yeah.
Whereas, or actually, the best example with The Undertaker is, do you remember the year when The Undertaker at WrestleMania was meant to be tagging, I think, with Nathan Jones?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
then they just wrote Nathan Jones out like last minute, and so then it was a
Just wasn't good
handicap
enough, I
match.
don't think.
Was it the Big
Yeah.
Show and who was the
Big Show and A Train.
Big Show and A-Train? Like, imagine how gutted
Yeah.
you are if you're the Big Show that you were in a
Yeah.
handicap match and you still
Yeah.
lose against the Undertaker.
I was there saying I was feeling gutted for Nathan Jones as well.
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
you had all that build and then you're not even used at the end of it. So
This happens a few times. Like there's been a few times where, and maybe it's because of injury, but you'll see someone like getting ready in the back, and suddenly they get attacked. And I
yeah.
can't remember who it was now. It was in like the mid noughties, I think, where someone was like an elimination chamber match or something, and they didn't get to
Yeah.
defend their title. For the
Who
life
was
of me, I
that?
can't think who it
Not
was.
Kofi, was it?
I don't think. No, I thought it was unless it can't have been an elimination chamber match then. If it was
No, that
Kofi.
someone done it in the elimination chamber. Dave Green, we need you.
Yeah, Dave Green, where art thou? No, but
I can't remember who it was now.
no, I can't remember. But I think they've done that kind of thing a couple of times.
And at the Royal Rumble, they've done it even with the women because who was it? Rusev's wife. What's her name?
Oh, Lana.
What's her name?
Lana.
Lana. Yeah, she got attacked, didn't she?
Yeah.
Looking out.
Oh my god,
so they've
didn't...
done it at Rumbles.
Okay, who was it that, like, a woman entered the men's rumble and beat up R-Truth to enter it? Who was that?
Not Rhea. Is Rhea been in a?
Was it Rhea? Can't... It could have been. It would work with her.
There's only been 3 women. There's China. There's
Beth Phoenix?
Beth. That's it. Beth.
Oh my god, was it Rhea Ripley?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but someone... I'm sure they beat up R-Truth and then entered the rumble.
That's familiar.
And there was like a story like weeks later where they gave R-Truth like a...
Nia Jax.
Oh my god, yes, beat up.
Yes.
Was it beating up R-Truth? Am I just like...
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And it's just like, yeah, I think they had to apologise somewhat for burying R-Truth like that. You know, that is such a burial, though. But
Yeah. Exactly.
okay, so we got, yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, so bringing it back to the really good question you raised. So who else has Dexter Lumis? Who else has been brought back by Triple H? Is it Infinity? Johnny
Damage Control.
Gargano. Sorry, who was that?
Yeah. Damage Control.
Damage Control.
Oh, Johnny Gargano, he needs a complete reset, and
Yeah,
probably that's why he's away. I don't know. He just needs a complete reset because I used to like Johnny in NXT,
yeah.
and then I can't. He irritated me so much on Raw.
Mm.
Just I don't know. It was just that little. Just like shut
Yeah,
up.
it hasn't landed well as of yet. But yeah,
Yeah,
of the who else? There was basically all these people brought back. That's probably
yeah.
most of them.
Let's see. Damage control there.
Oh my god, who's the like Bronson Reed just came back, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And by the time we got to Bronson Reed, everyone's like he's scraping the barrel. He just wants a surprise every week,
yeah. Exactly.
you know.
He's going for the Tony Khan.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
every week there's going to be a
yeah. I
surprise.
can't think of anyone that's actually Bray. Oh, obviously Bo Dallas.
Yeah, Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, I never
So
checked. I've not checked this yet, and again, I might have either said it last week on the show or just in between. But I'm
yeah,
sure when Bray came back, when he first came back, didn't he have a different mask on, which was the Uncle Howdy mask?
I thought it was,
Is it
but
not?
I'm not. I thought it was,
I'm going to see
but
if I
I've
can
been
find
told
this
it's not.
somehow. Bray
I've been told it's
returns.
different because he
Okay,
had that little. I can't explain it, the smile with the cheekbones and everything on that one.
okay. Well, look. So I'm gonna be honest. I've got a slight ulterior motive here, Gav.
Right.
Is that
Okay.
with this different streaming setup, it means that I can easily like screen share. So if I do find it,
Okay.
I will bring it up, but it may take me a minute to find it.
No worries.
But yeah. So what else? So who do you? I asked this to Dave Green last week as well.
Yeah.
The amount of times Dave Green's name has been mentioned on the show today, but he was on the show.
So
I may have spoken about
royalties,
it with
mate.
Corey. I'm not sure. But who do you think will own the WWE in 1 year's time?
Will there be a WWE in 1 year's time?
Oh, it can't. Okay, so it may not be a WWE in the same sense that there isn't a WCW, but someone
Yeah.
like Vince owns WCW, but someone has to own it. He can't just be like
Uh,
and like releasing it into the wild. No one owns it.
I'll tell you what. If I win the lotto on Friday tomorrow, I might even buy it.
But do you know what the amazing thing about that, Gav, is if you were saying that, like if you won the lottery and you were like, and I would buy WCW for the price it sold, you actually could
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah.
It's insane to think like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
like it was like $2.5 million for all of WCW.
Exactly. And like WWE must be worth probably about 5 billion right now.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
Okay, hang on, Gav. Let's
So,
see if I can do this. I've got my screen sharing wizardry going. This is probably going to get me in trouble as well, just for screen sharing. So share screen. Let's do this. Can I find it? Window. This looks like it.
yeah, you don't want to do a TJ.
Well, exactly. So hang on. Let's minimize it actually. Can I minimize it?
Oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah. So let's play it here. Hopefully it's small enough on the screen. So they had all of this where the different versions of Bray Wyatt were emerging. All his puppets and that. And there was the Fiend, and everyone saw that and thought it was him.
Yeah.
But obviously it wasn't. And so I forgot how long this goes on for. Then there was like a magic door, which I've never quite understood, but it's cool.
That is actually a homage to Brody. When
Oh my
he
gosh,
appeared in
yes.
AEW. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool. No, I really appreciate that detail now. Find Uncle Howdy. So there we see that. And just because I've got to be so careful with this screen share stuff, just in case anything
Yeah.
dodgy comes up.
Yeah.
Let's bring up Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy. Images. Do you know what, actually? It looks like there's been various versions of this
Strange.
mask.
That's what I was going to say. It looks a bit different.
Because if you see, like, this one here, that
That's
doesn't...
it.
That looks like it's got, like, the whole face.
Yeah.
Like the goatee looks like part of the mask. But then what
Yeah.
they've got here, it's like cut off at like the
Cut
bottom
off.
jaw.
Yeah.
That's
So
weird.
I'm not too sure if there's different versions that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, you're right. And then this one has got the bottom jaw, and then this one.
That's right.
Maybe they adapted it so that you could wrestle in it.
Oh, true, actually.
You know, maybe Bo just didn't. You know, he's like, I'm going to be gassed out if I'm trying to wear this mask.
Yeah, he's only
Like
you.
he's like,
He's
he's
only
like, I'm
Bad
not
DJ
Kane. I
that does
can't
that.
do this. Like, you know, I haven't wrestled in 3 years since he was
Exactly.
in the B squad or what B team or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Oh my god. Like,
we forgot about that.
yeah, yeah. It's weird though with someone like Bo Dallas. Do you know the movie Sliding Doors?
Do you know what? I think I've seen it before, but I can't
Okay,
remember it.
I don't like this film, but but
Right.
the concept of it is that
Yeah.
I think it's a woman. She goes to get on a train, and the doors slide shut, and she doesn't make
Yeah.
it, and so now she's like the train goes without her, and then suddenly the
Right.
scene restarts, and she goes and she just manages to get on the train, and throughout the rest of the film, it shows like if she'd got on the train, her life would have turned out like this. She didn't get on the
Yeah.
train, her life turned out like that. And I think like someone like Bo Dallas, he looks at himself and he looks at his
Yeah.
brother Bray, and he's like, Bray is the one that got onto the train and went off to the promised land. I ended up left in the B team and
Yeah,
had to
it's
bow
true.
leave. I mean, like I'm
So
sure,
true.
like again, like it's so many years ago, but like Bo was like, wasn't he NXT champion at one point?
Yeah, he was.
He was a big
Yeah,
deal in
and
NXT.
he was doing really well. He
Yeah.
was really doing well in NXT.
So
Yeah,
this
so
actually may be Triple H like saying like Bo, I still believe in you.
believe.
You know, I'm going to put right what once went wrong. He's like, I made you a champion, and then
It just reminded me of
Vince,
Roman Reigns. That was his little thing at the end as well.
yeah,
Believe that, not something as well. But,
yeah.
believe that. But yeah,
But it's like his name was Bo Dallas, and
yeah,
you can almost work out that Vince McMahon saw like, who have you got? You know, Paul, and then he's like, well, we got this kid, and he's Bo Dallas. Bo, what kind of name is that? I don't believe it. Such good shit, and the rest of it is just based around that one word.
exactly.
If his name had been Jack, he wouldn't have had that gimmick.
No,
I've got to
no,
Jack
exactly.
leave. It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully this is going to be a good little run for Bo doing this Uncle Howdy kind of gimmick. So,
But where does it go? Because unless he's going to actually, because he's attacked Bray, but
Yeah.
he could. Bray Wyatt's stuff never really makes that much sense to me. So he could
No.
join up and be his tag team partner. But usually
Yeah.
when there's like an underfaker or the May 19th Kane, when
Yeah.
when they just have like the fake, like mysterious person, that hasn't really worked out for a long term gimmick
No,
before.
it hasn't. No.
So
So, gonna have to watch and see.
yeah.
Like, again with Alexa, now, well, how does that pan into
Oh,
everything as
I don't
well?
know
So,
why. Like she'd almost escaped this. Like
yeah, and I was
she.
just like thinking,
They go ahead.
I'm not really enjoying it so much. I don't know. I'm probably jumping the gun. I need to sit down and wait and let it pan out.
Yeah,
But does she then win the title from Bianca?
I hope not.
I'm hoping not.
I hope
'Cause
not. Like
I'm hoping to see Bianca versus Rhea at Mania.
that could work.
I'm hoping to see that.
I think that's a good bet for what if they're going to go down the route which they haven't always done, but in like recent years where
Yeah.
like night one or just one of the nights of WrestleMania, a
Yeah.
women's match main events it because like last year they didn't actually because it was Steve Austin
That's right.
main
Yeah.
evented. But
Yeah.
if they want a women's world championship match to main event it, Rhea versus Bianca I think
That's a
is
big
their
match.
best bet. But
Yeah.
then where does Charlotte fit in?
Charlotte versus. Oh,
I don't know.
that's the thing. Because then you've got Ronda. If she's still around.
No, like I think it's so weird that they would
Yeah.
take the belt off of Ronda this close to Mania.
Yeah, exactly.
The only
Because,
logic
like,
I can put to it is if they want Ronda to win it at Mania, but that's what they did
that's
last
what
year.
I'm thinking.
Or no, she
But then,
did. Ronda didn't win it at Mania, did she?
no, she didn't know.
Okay,
Because
so
it was
maybe
her
they have
versus
promised
Charlotte.
her
And then,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
she won the
So I'm
Rumble,
not
but
too
then
sure.
did she not win the belt?
Yeah, that's right. She didn't win it at Mania. She won it at the next event, I think.
Yeah, that comes back to me as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe Ronda's like, look, I want to win the championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, would that work? Because the fans aren't behind her,
No.
and this run of Ronda, I do like Ronda.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, but it's been lacking,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is. Something's not there. I don't know.
It's because she should be a face, and the
Yeah,
fans started to turn on her because they turned on her for two reasons. One,
yeah,
she was destroying everyone,
yeah,
which, to be honest, she's Ronda Rousey. She probably would.
yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
but then the situation happened where they wanted Becky, so
yeah, exactly
they
that.
had no
Yeah,
choice because it was going to be Charlotte and Ronda, and they then gave Becky the Rumble win because they demanded it.
yeah. Because then,
Oh
like, that's
no,
the
or
other thing.
did
Like,
Becky win the Rumble?
Becky won the Rumble. Like,
But there was
a few
something
years ago.
happened where she then wasn't going to be in the main event, and then they really
They
had to backtrack on it.
because that's when they brought in Charlotte, didn't they?
Yeah,
Instead of make it a three-way.
yeah.
No one wanted Charlotte.
No
Let's
one
be
wanted
honest.
Charlotte,
Yeah,
but
it was only
I don't
Vince
know
that
what the
wanted Charlotte.
situation was. Obviously, like Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair. There's
Yeah,
probably if like a woman's going to main event WrestleMania, they probably thought we have to have Charlotte Flair.
yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah,
suddenly it was like, well, the champion is Ronda. The fans want Becky.
yeah,
They were like, well, we'll let. They've tried to do this before, where they were like, we're going to let Becky win the Rumble, but then we'll not have her at Mania. And it was like they were like, we're not going to have. Well, we're gonna let Rey Mysterio win
right.
the Rumble, but then they tried to not have him at
Yeah,
Mania. And what was it? There was like a third one
yeah,
where it was
exactly.
similar to this. Oh no, it was Daniel Bryan, where it's like everyone wanted him to win the
Oh
Rumble,
yeah,
and they're like, we're not going to do that.
yeah,
And in the end, they had to backtrack.
yeah, exactly.
And Kofi. There's so many times where
True. Yeah.
the main they don't listen to what the fans want.
No,
They don't
exactly.
like, and then in
And
the end,
that's
they're
the
like,
fan that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's the fans that push those ones big time.
yeah,
So they had to change it all up, like with Daniel and Kofi.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the fans that drove that one. But I was there thinking, like Becky this year, who does she face at Mania? Like, what's the matchup?
I don't know. She
Like,
which brand is she on?
she's on Raw now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
So then maybe it'll be her for the women's championship.
but then you've got what, her versus Alexa if Alexa wins, or
I don't think
Bianca?
Alexa's going to win.
I don't know. Like I was there thinking maybe the not the, I'm saying the Fiend, Uncle Howdy or Ray does something and then she wins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want her to win. I'll be honest.
No.
But I can see it happening.
Yeah. Could be. So, in terms of who do you think is going to win the Rumble? We're a couple of weeks away from the Rumble.
Oh, John Cena. John,
Could be.
not a cap. Yeah. I'm not too sure. Like all the time beforehand, I was there thinking, Cody,
Yeah.
is The Rock coming back next week to be in the bloodline lineage?
This is one of the like in a week's time we may have a much bigger picture of it.
Yeah,
But there are so many possibilities right now
big time.
because it's like Raw 30, isn't it? Like 30
Yeah,
years
that's
of Raw.
right. Yeah,
And so yeah, is The Rock going to be on there? I don't think it would see people who seem to get the idea that Steve Austin's going to have a match again, but he isn't going to
I
get
was
a
gonna
world
say.
title match.
yeah.
Although
I don't think
why
he should.
does I don't think he should. But the idea of having Austin versus Roman's quite why does no one fantasize about that match? They should.
They should.
The build
And,
up
like,
to that would be great.
it would be brilliant. I don't know. Like, okay, because it was his first match. I think the big hype, 19 years or whatever,
Yeah.
with KO, and I enjoyed that match, and I was just like, wow, he can still go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, he's had his time.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And I'm just like, I want to remember Austin up here.
yeah.
Like, I don't want to. And again, he done really well last year,
Well,
but he wasn't still stone cold to me.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. It was like
Yeah.
when Goldberg came back, and again
Yeah.
this was their flip flopping. He in
Yeah.
that promo where he said, "Oh, I am gonna wrestle Brock," instead of saying who's, you're next. He says, you're last. And if he'd just come in and decimated Brock, and then, like, it's a shame that his match where he won the title from Kevin Owens was so bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
But the match versus Brock, if that had been it for Goldberg, they'd been like, yeah, he managed to pull out like this big upset. They could have done something better versus Kevin Owens, but then the match with Brock, it would be like, yeah, that was a good way of Goldberg coming back and wrapping up the career.
Finishing it.
But then carrying on, it got so bad. It was a train wreck until I think Bobby Lashley carried him to a good match at Crown Jewel or whichever that match was.
That was really good. I wasn't expecting that at all from that match.
No, and I think there was like an interview with Goldberg at the time where he said that, people are criticizing me. They want me to do an actual Goldberg match. So I did. Yeah. But when you watch it, Bobby Lashley does everything for him. Everything. He does. Everything.
Very much so. Yeah. I noticed that as well. He did carry for him.
But did Kevin Owens do everything for Austin?
I need to probably watch it back.
The things that shocked me with it was that Kevin Owens they did vertical suplexes on each other outside the ring.
That's right.
And I was like, why is Austin taking that bump of all the bumps to take? And then so he did take bumps. It wasn't that he took no bumps.
He did. Yeah, he took a couple bumps.
Yeah.
Not the ones. He didn't do what he normally used to do.
Yeah.
But again, he didn't need to.
I don't even think he did a Luthez press.
No, he didn't.
And maybe his knees won't allow it. But to me, it's like that. You just jump up. You just land on them. You just land on Kevin Owens.
I was going to say, when you're not doing it for so long, your body's not used to it. And,
absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, go on.
I said this in the chat. No one's actually mentioned this guy's name at all because everyone thinks he's still out. What if we have RKO?
Orton.
Yeah.
You know what? If that's a really interesting possibility. If he was to return in the Rumble, I'd see it as similar to when Edge returned a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think he could be in it, and he could be in it for half an hour. I don't think he should be the winner because...
Would he win it? I don't think he should win it.
I don't think he should win it. I'd like to see him return, though.
Yeah.
If
he wins that, that's 3 for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he's won the Rumble twice.
On the same level as Austin.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So The Rock is the one 3 years in a row people have said, well, next year it's going to be Roman and Rock.
Yeah.
In one sense, I would love it to happen this year. In another sense, I think they should hold off and do it at WrestleMania 40. Because...
Where's WrestleMania 40 going to be held?
Oh, I literally don't know. Maybe they haven't announced it yet. That's a good point, though. They're in Hollywood, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So that's why it makes sense for The Rock. Yeah. Okay. But still, WrestleMania 40, what bigger match can you do? Because
oh wow.
Because WrestleMania, when you think WrestleMania 30 was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
In the main event, and that felt suitably big.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 20, what was that?
That was Brock and... Well, it wasn't them at the end, but...
What was WrestleMania 20? Was that Benoit?
It was.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Benoit, the triple threat.
Yeah. Okay, and what was WrestleMania...
Benoit
yeah, and what was WrestleMania 10?
10 was Brett winning the title.
Oh, yeah,
for Yoko.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been some... Actually, I was going to say, in my head, it should be WrestleMania should be Rock Austin sort of level things, but these are all technical guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Brett, Benoit, Daniel Bryan, they're all mat wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's weird.
So that means this year, or next year, sorry, who's it going to be?
I don't know.
Guy in WWE right now?
I don't know. Who is the technical wrestler? Sorry?
Who is the technical guy in WWE
I don't know.
right now?
They all went to AEW.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. Gav, shush, please.
Thank you. And that guy, he's so talented.
Yeah.
He needs to stop being squashed every week now, please, Triple H. Come on.
The weird thing is, if he went to AEW, they'd probably treat him more seriously. but I don't
Yeah.
know if he'd ever get off the stank of Shush
Yeah.
Please and Shorty G and stuff like
Yeah.
this. I think if he's going to be rehabilitated anywhere, it has to be in WWE.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually enjoy him. I actually enjoy him and Otis,
Yeah.
and their little stint. But like, I don't want him to lose all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like he's like the closest thing to the next Kurt Angle kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Except for that guy. Who was that guy who was like the Olympic wrestler who has just, like
Oh,
never did anything?
oh, what's his name? What's his
It's
name?
like Gable Stevenson.
Gable
Yeah, it's
Stevenson.
like Gable
that's
as
it.
well, wasn't it? That's weird.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll try to figure out next year's WrestleMania at some point.
What about Sammy Uso?
Yeah.
So-
Oos. Honorary Oos. In one sense, it should be Sammy, but
Should be.
when you
But-
consider it could be The Rock or it could be Sami Zayn. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Sami
yeah,
Zayn
it's
doesn't
like,
really. It's like feels like it doesn't quite hit the same level.
Doesn't weigh up, does it?
Cody, I
No.
think, has that more of that presence.
Yeah.
But they're now
Yeah.
going to be in a situation where if Cody comes back and Sami Zayn is in the Royal Rumble, they're going to turn on Cody.
It's going to be like that now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because like this program with Sammy has been the best. I think that's probably the best program in the last. Was it? It's
Year?
probably a year.
2 years?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, so, I think a lot of people is actually invested in that. So.
Do you know what, like, the whole
Cody, yeah.
dynamic, I think we were speaking about this a couple of months ago, but like the whole dynamic with the bloodline where they like whether they liked Sammy or didn't like Sammy and how if they get on, and then there's just like Solo and he's just like, you know,
Yeah.
like this, and the Usos have got like different reactions. That was so good. And then like even this week on like SmackDown, I'm trying to think what it was. It was just so funny when Sammy and Heyman meet each other. Sammy's
Yeah.
like, oh, wise man. He's like, Shmooly, which is just like some
Yeah.
weird nickname thing, which just sounds so funny.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's so funny though.
Hey, what if we have? I doubt it now because like Vince is back. I was there thinking, what if we hear Cult of Personality? Because
Well, I don't know. To be honest,
interestingly,
Vince is back. What I was going to say is like, it was Triple H that Punk really didn't get along with.
right? Okay.
So if Vince is
But-
back,
have you noticed anything today? I've
no,
noticed something today on WWE.com.
no.
I really frequent it, but they've actually put something up with AJ.
AJ Lee,
AJ kissing John Cena.
AJ
was just
Lee
like-
kissing John Cena on WWE Today.
That was today that they've put a video up, and I was just like, hang on a minute, why have they done that?
Why have they done that? If any, okay, that makes me feel like they're doing that to upset Punk now.
No, I mean that was from the storyline
Yeah.
from back in the day, but yeah, that video just came out, and I was just like, hang on a minute, are we
So-
fucking teasers?
Yeah, that's super weird. Let's see if I can find where they've got this. So WWE videos. I don't know if I can spot it. Oh my god, there it is. Let's bring it up.
There you go.
So there we go. AJ Lee kisses John Cena. That's 8 hours ago. 123,000 views.
So what's that about?
Don't know. Interestingly, that's had the most. It's got weirdly like The Undertaker returns during the Rumble's got 123,000 views as well. But otherwise,
Yeah.
that's got the most views of anything today.
Exactly.
Wow. Once again, let's risk getting a. Oh, look at this. It's going to show adverts. Oh, pain in the butt. I'm not giving them advertising. Right. We'll see. We'll see the clip in a second. Why have they? AJ Lee kisses John Cena on Raw.
So are we
It's not even a
planning to see?
match.
Maybe AJ's coming back.
I heard a quote, maybe, because wasn't she involved in that like Women of Wrestling or what's it called?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it is women wrestling. Yeah, WOW.
yeah, like why did she get involved in that? That was just so random. Like, and there we see it, AJ
go.
and Cena. I don't know if CM Punk is watching this, you know, just don't look. There we go. This will be an interesting test just to see if I get copyright struck for this.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
hope not. Right, let's take that off. Wow, yeah, like so. Okay, so this is a bit like a murder mystery, like with like the suspects of who are the prime
yeah,
candidates, and so we've got The Rock, we've got
yeah,
Sammy, Cody Rhodes is a possibility, CM Punk is a possibility. The other one I said like 6 months ago it's going to be Logan Paul, but I don't know if he's still injured.
yeah,
But there are
yeah,
like genuinely like this is the most what they need to do is somehow have and if Randy Orton comes back as well, somehow have
yeah,
these as like the last 6 or 7 guys. You know, the
yeah,
Rocks. You know, and Dave Green came up with this theory last week that there'll be like a 31st entrant. You know, but
yeah.
and
I
I said
saw
that
that.
that would work, but only if like the last two are in the ring at the time, because otherwise it's just like why is there a number 31?
Yeah, or like maybe like have it where I don't know. It's the last two guys in the ring,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden there's a clock, and then like you have the commentators go, "What's going on here? Why have they got the clock going?" Kind of thing.
That would work best if it was Jericho, to be fair.
Yeah,
If there
yeah,
was like
yeah,
suddenly 10,
yeah.
9.
That's true. Actually,
Imagine if
yeah,
they actually had it so it got like the proper sounds, but then like the
yeah.
brrr changed into break the walls down. That'd be
Oh,
amazing.
that'd be brilliant.
But apparently, like Jericho has wrangled his way, so he's now like the vice president or
Yeah,
whatever, some
he's
high powered
AEW for
job.
life now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AEW for life. I think you're right.
yeah,
But yeah. So if in the ring, like there was Orton and Sami Zayn, and Orton's come back, and we're like, oh my gosh, is Orton going to win it? And Logan
yeah,
Paul's been an entrant as well, and then the
yeah,
music hits, and it's The Rock, and people go
yeah,
crazy, and like, oh my god, and then Cult of
yeah.
Personality hits, and we're like, who can possibly win now?
Who's gonna win it? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
ah,
Yeah.
that'd be insane. Okay, who would you like to win it?
Who would I like to win? That's a good question. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure at all. Rumble is this weekend, isn't it? Or is it next
I
week?
think it's next weekend. I'll double check
Next
this.
weekend.
I've got WWE up here.
Right, okay. Must be next weekend.
I think it's like the 28th or something. Let's check what date that would be. So the 28th
Yeah.
is Saturday. It's so weird to me that now that pay-per-views are on Saturday.
Yeah, it is.
So WWE shows premium. Let's see when it says it is. Oh no, that's just like Survivor Series. They don't make it clear. I don't know. Right.
Oh well. I think
It'll
it's
be on
probably
at
next
some
week.
point. Okay, WWE.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Saturday, January 28th.
Right, next week then.
And like so on Raw, they made it very clear that Cody is going to be back. Cody is back in the Rumble, so he's on the poster.
If it's not the, do you know what? Why have we not even mentioned Bobby? Why
Bobby
not
Lashley.
Bobby win it?
Yeah, well, look, they've got him hiding behind the logo there for some reason. You can't even see it. Who's that also hiding? Is that Austin Theory there? Yeah, I think that's maybe Austin
Yeah, that's
Theory.
Austin.
And
Yeah.
Brock. Yeah, Brock isn't going to win.
No,
Bobby
no.
Lashley would be. I think if Bobby Lashley won it,
Yeah.
it would. If there were 2 world titles, then it might be like when Sheamus won it, and then he went for the less important world title. I just
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
they've done enough with Bobby recently.
No.
He's
And maybe
an outsider.
the Hurt Business coming back.
Oh yeah, let's hope so. Because obviously they teased that again on Raw, didn't they?
Yeah.
With MVP. Also, that whole thing where MVP, like, I wondered if Bobby was going to come out when MVP teased someone was going to go against Elias, because it was the one thing
Yeah.
I was certain that it wasn't going to be MVP
Yeah, I knew it
versus
was going to be MVP.
Elias.
I did think it was going to be Omos.
Yeah, and it
But I
was.
wasn't too sure. But,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, if Bobby then joins them, are they going to be heel or face? That's the thing.
It depends what they do with him. Like, because
Yeah.
MVP is probably better as the heel manager. He's most
Yeah.
effective like that. Bobby is better as a face, frankly.
Yeah, he is.
And I don't know, like, then like the tag team, if they go against the Usos, because have they ever properly done the Hurt Business versus the Bloodline? Did that
You know
happen?
what? I completely missed all that Hurt Business. I heard a lot about it, and everyone's there saying that they're brilliant,
Yeah,
and I need to actually get back in touch with it and watch it.
yeah.
But I completely missed that era, to
Uh,
be honest. Yeah,
what it was a weird thing that came about. Like it shows how much WWE just sort of do things on the fly because again
yeah,
it was 2020, and
yeah.
MVP was in the Rumble as a surprise. Brock
Right.
just chucked him out, and then
Okay.
I think MVP wrestled Mysterio on Raw, and MVP was like, "Yeah, that's it. My career's done. I'm so happy to have come back to WWE." He probably didn't think he was gonna be asked back again, and he was like, "Well, I'm going to end it on a high, and that was going to be that's the end of my career."
Right.
And can't remember if they brought him back before the pandemic kicked off, or they might have been like, "Well, if we can't have an audience, we just need some good mic guys, and you're
Yeah.
quite good, so
Yeah.
we'll bring you back." And along the way, the Hurt Business. At first, though, they were going to do it as the Return of the Nation of Domination. Did you hear that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All
Um,
right. Okay.
but because of the stuff happening with riots after George Floyd and
Oh, yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
I think it was a Vince idea, and I think people convinced Vince, this is not the way. This is not the
No.
right. This is not.
No.
You shouldn't bring this back to capitalize on a tragedy in
Yeah.
the real world.
Exactly.
But they still kept them as the Hurt Business. So the unfortunate thing there is that might have been that they brought back Ron Simmons, but they like if we
Right.
put Ron Simmons here, it's the Nation basically.
Yeah.
So they just had it with MVP as like the mastermind,
Mouthpiece.
the
Right,
the
yeah.
mastermind, the mouthpiece. Then they
Yeah.
had the tag team, and then they had Lashley as the main eventer, and it really
Right.
worked. And
Oh,
oops.
sorry.
But then they insisted on breaking them up and then putting them back together and then breaking them up again. And so,
Oh, right. Okay.
so
Yeah, I completely missed it. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Hopefully, I get to witness it now.
yeah, so hopefully they'll be back, and hopefully what might be quite good is whoever they've got planned for Roman. Like, there's the chance that Roman will keep the title at Mania,
Yeah. Exactly.
and if he does, because it's like if he's been champion for 2 years, everyone's just thinking, "Oh, who's Roman going to lose it to?" He might just keep it.
I think he's going to keep it myself.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't think there's anyone on his level yet. Like,
Possibly.
I just can't see it myself personally. Like, and some people usually get bored of it at this stage. I'm not. I'm actually loving.
No, I agree. I'm
Yeah.
not fed up of it at all.
No.
I think if they're going to make Cody a world champion, it's
Yeah.
WrestleMania or bust.
Yeah.
Because he came back, there was a lot of hype. Every single match was against Seth Rollins for some reason. They were good, but for some reason, every match. Then he got injured, and so now
Yeah.
if they're going to bring him back and give him that hype again, if he doesn't win it, then by SummerSlam, it's just going to be like, well, who cares now?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's actually even talking into this demographic as well, because like everyone's got so much of a short attention span now.
Yeah.
Because like beforehand, I remember back in the old days when it was always the slow burn, and that's probably why I actually love this Sami Zayn storyline, because it's been so slow.
Yeah.
And it's been brilliant.
Like Gav, like back in the day, they'd like
Yeah.
the example I always give of this is Mr. Perfect was the referee for the Lex Luger match, and he was like,
Oh.
a year ago, we wrestled, and it's like, what? They're
Yeah.
bringing this story back from a year ago,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then they stopped doing it entirely a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly that. So
Yeah,
I'm not. But going back to your question, I don't know. I really don't know who I want to win.
like if they can get The Rock, it should be The Rock.
Yeah.
If not, and they want to try to hype up WrestleMania as much as possible, it probably should be Cody Rhodes if they're sensible. But if they just want most publicity, they could go with Logan Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
But then, and Logan Paul keeps surprising everyone, but he doesn't kind of deserve it.
I was going to say Logan's already had his time as well with Roman,
Yeah, exactly.
Crown Jewel. So
I can see the Paul brothers, the Logan brothers, the Paul brothers versus the Usos.
Usos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But other than that, like storyline wise, it does make sense for it to be Sammy.
Mm.
But if they do that, I think like most of like the casual audience will just be like, who is Sami
Yeah, that's
Zayn?
true.
He's like this kind of goofy, comedic, scruffy looking guy that's a bit
Yeah,
panicky and stuff like this. I don't know.
exactly.
I think that's one that a lot of people will want.
Yeah,
Other than that, like obviously Randy Orton, that was a really interesting idea that you had. Bobby
yeah,
is another one where if someone was injured, then they could always suddenly say Bobby or Brock or Orton
yeah,
or even Edge. I don't know if Edge is injured, but
yeah.
you know, who knows?
I'm not too sure.
I'm gonna
What do you think?
yeah, go on.
Who do you think though?
Okay, if I had to
Or
pick
who would you
someone, I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
true to what I said, and I'm gonna say it's gonna
Yeah.
be Logan Paul because that's what I said
Okay.
6 months ago. Damn it!
Yeah.
I don't think he actually will. I think they'll. The obvious one that they probably will go with is Cody,
Right.
but then it could be Sammy or it could be The Rock. I don't know. There's too many. Or it could be
Which is,
Punk.
it's-
The interesting thing
yeah,
with
it's
Punk
true.
actually is Tony Khan. Someone asked him a question or something within the last week about the AEW video game because it did
Right,
have CM Punk on the cover and now it doesn't.
That's right.
And
yeah.
someone says like, why isn't he on the cover anymore? And Tony Khan was like, that's a really good question, but I can't talk about it. It's like, why not? It's like, why can't you talk about who's on the cover of your own video game?
That's weird.
I think that's the fact that it's gone on this long. To me, as I've always said and maintain, it's a work. Right? At some point, you know, they'll if they're not saying, well, Punk doesn't wrestle with us anymore, because it's
Yeah.
6 months later, he could say it now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, because imagine if Punk was back in WWE, and then Tony Khan's like, oh, I can't talk about that. It's like, yes, you can. Just talk about it. It's so long ago, no one cares anymore.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see, I guess.
I think it's a sign though that Punk is going to be back in AEW.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so. Like Punk may have considered going elsewhere, but I think Tony Khan was so desperate to have Punk.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably just like, I'm not letting you go. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like, I'm
And
not
you see
letting
him,
you go.
hugging him again.
Yeah, just like the hugs. You know, he loves his hugs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, there you go.
let's have a quick look to see if there's any late breaking news. So let's refresh a couple of pages here. Okay, so interesting news, not like. Ooh, a couple of interesting pieces of news. So Matt Cardona files trademark for Zack Ryder. That's interesting that he could even do that.
Oh,
Why
wow.
would he want that back? Like, I understand, like,
Yeah.
he might just want to capitalize on it, but why would he want that?
Maybe he's coming back and winning the Rumble.
Yeah, but like if he's coming back, well, there we go. Like that would be a shock. And
There you go.
Devon
Yeah.
Dudley announces WWE departure. I wonder why. Let's have a look
Okay.
here. Devon Dudley, the company at WWE and I have decided to part ways. Hang on. Let's bring this up on the screen, if we can. The company have decided to part ways and feel this is the best decision for all parties. Blah blah blah. It's been a pleasure and an honour to work with young talent when Bubba as well as everyone over in NXT. When Bubba? With Bubba, I think he means. Anyway, I'm just failing to read here, Gav. I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. As well as working with some of the best producers in the world. Okay, so what's that a sign of? Vince McMahon is back and suddenly NXT trainers are getting gutted. This is Scotty 2 Hotty all over again.
Yeah. But like I was going to say, like Devon got blocked recently from doing an event from Triple H, didn't he?
Devon what?
He got blocked from doing an event. He
Oh,
wanted to go
yeah.
do an event somewhere,
Yeah.
independent,
Yeah, that was...
and like Triple H didn't allow him. So,
yeah. I think
maybe
that was a
he's
mistake
had
as well. It
enough.
was some ECW reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So-
I vaguely remember that. Vince McMahon agrees to settlement with former referee who accused him of assault. So that's weird.
Okay.
Wow. Has settled the case solely to avoid the cost of litigation. Wait, hang on a second. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen just because it has like some details that I probably shouldn't bring up on the channel. It says, according to the Wall Street Journal, the settlement was
Right.
officially completed last month. Asked for $11.75 million. Like, Vince, like, he needs
Wow.
to sell WWE at this point. The amount of settlements he's
exactly.
done. It's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, how about this? I think that's about it. The last thing, unless there's anything else from you, Gav. Any other things that we've missed?
I'm not too sure. AEW, Soraya, Turning Hill. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
Soraya,
Do you know what?
sorry.
I didn't. Was Dynamite? I don't mind spoilers. Was Dynamite good last night? I haven't finished it.
I actually enjoyed the last few episodes of Dynamite. It's
Yeah.
actually been all right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Anything significant happen on the show? I didn't spot anything on the net, but
nothing that I can think of. Just them paying tribute to Jay again. But nothing really significant. Apart
Okay.
from, like I say, Paige, Soraya, Turning Heel. That's about it, really.
Yeah. Okay, so that just leaves us with the Iron Sheik. So we have here a poll, and Gav, you can place your bets on this as well. He predicts the new CEO of Twitter is, and then you can either vote for the Iron Sheik, go fact yourself, or Hulk Hogan is a jabroni. Which do you think is going to be winning this poll?
Oh yeah, number 2, without a doubt.
Really? I think it's going to be Hulk Hogan, but let's vote your way. Let's see what happens. Oh, hang on. It disappeared. The Iron Sheik is winning.
No,
it's so close.
Okay.
I wouldn't have voted for Iron Sheik, but Iron Sheik is winning 35%. GFY is 33%, and Hogan at 31%. Wow. That's actually a win for Hogan, that he's not being voted as the jabroni. On that note, Gav, where can the people find you?
You can find me here, hopefully same time next week. Hopefully.
Awesome.
So,
And hopefully we'll be able to get the 4 horsemen back together.
yes, all of us got to come back together.
No,
If you're listening, guys,
If you're listening,
come on, let's do it.
Dave Green, Corey, Assad,
So,
Siddharth, TJ, the lot,
Yeah.
you know.
where's Andrew? I haven't seen Andrew in ages either.
Well, exactly. God knows. Anyway, I'm David Pasansky. Find me on Facebook.